There are moments in life that feel ordinary on the surface, but in the spirit realm, they were written long before you arrived. Chosen one, this is one of those moments. Because the truth is, Jay recognized something about you before you ever opened your mouth, before you explained yourself, before you told your story, before you revealed your pain, your dreams, or your scars. They already sensed it. And that should tell you something powerful. You were never invisible. There was a mark on your spirit that spoke louder than words ever could. A presence, an energy, a mystery heaven placed over your life that certain people can feel instantly. Most ignored it, some feared it, others became jealous of it. But Jay noticed it immediately. Why? Because spiritually connected people can detect what ordinary eyes cannot see. There is something about you that refuses to blend in with the crowd. Even when you try to stay quiet, your spirit speaks. Even when you hide your pain behind a smile, something deeper radiates from you. And Jay picked up on it the moment your paths crossed. This was not random. You thought it was coincidence. You thought it was another normal encounter. But heaven had already arranged this connection before either of you realized it. Because sometimes God sends someone into your life who can recognize your destiny before you fully recognize it yourself. And that scares people. It scares people when they meet someone carrying spiritual authority without even trying. It unsettles people when your energy exposes what they hide. You may not even realize it, but your presence forces truth to rise to the surface. That is why certain people become uncomfortable around you for no reason. Your spirit disrupts darkness, but Jay didn't run from it. Jay leaned toward it, because deep inside they sensed that you were different from everyone they had ever met. They saw depth where others saw silence. They saw power where others saw weakness. They saw survival where others only saw mystery. And before you ever spoke a single word, they knew your life carried something heavy, sacred, and chosen. Chosen one, hear this carefully. Not everybody can recognize an anointed soul. Some people can stand directly in front of greatness and still miss it completely. But every once in a while, someone enters your life with spiritual sensitivity strong enough to feel the fire hidden inside you. That is what happened with Jay. The connection was deeper than appearances, deeper than conversation, deeper than logic. It was spiritual recognition. And whether they admitted it or not, your spirit awakened something inside them the moment they saw you, because your energy carries history. It carries battles nobody knows about, nights you survived alone, betrayals that should have broken you, tears heaven collected in silence, and somehow, despite everything sent against you, you still stand, you still shine, you still carry light. That kind of strength cannot be faked. And Jay saw it immediately. They saw someone who had been through spiritual warfare and survived it. Someone protected by forces greater than human understanding. Someone marked by destiny. That is why your connection felt intense from the beginning. It was never small talk for the soul. It was recognition. The scary part is, even you may not fully understand who you are yet, but heaven does. And sometimes God will allow another person to sense your purpose before you completely awaken to it yourself. Not because you are weak, but because chosen people often spend years doubting the very power resting on their lives. Yet the signs were always there. The way people stare at you without explanation. The way strangers open up to you instantly. The way envy follows you even when you remain humble. The way your presence changes the atmosphere of a room. That is not ordinary energy. That is spiritual weight. And Jay recognized it before you even spoke. So today, stop underestimating yourself. Stop believing you are small, forgotten, or unseen. You carry something ancient in your spirit, something heaven protected, something that cannot be copied by this world. And the people who are spiritually alert, they can feel it instantly. The question is no longer whether Jay saw it. The real question is, when will you finally see it too? Chosen one. There is a reason your life has never been ordinary. You have tried to fit into spaces that could not hold your spirit. You have tried to explain yourself to people who were never spiritually equipped to understand you. And for years, you may have believed something was wrong with you because you always felt different. But hear this clearly today, you were never created to blend in. You were created to awaken. That is why Jay felt something unusual before you even introduced yourself. The spirit always speaks before the mouth does. Some people walk into a room and nobody notices. But when you enter, something shifts. Energy changes. Conversations pause. People either feel drawn toward you or intimidated by you, and many times you blamed yourself for that reaction. You thought maybe you were too quiet, too intense, too emotional, too mysterious. Your spirit simply carries weight. And Jay sensed it immediately. They could feel that you were not pretending like everyone else. They could feel that your soul had been through storms most people would never survive. There was pain in your eyes, but also power. There was softness in your heart, but also spiritual fire. And before you even spoke, they knew your story could not be ordinary. Chosen one, people who are spiritually awake can recognize hidden warriors. You may look calm on the outside, but your spirit has fought battles behind closed doors that would have destroyed weaker souls. There were moments you cried yourself to sleep while still asking God for strength. Moments you felt abandoned, rejected, and misunderstood. Moments you questioned why life kept testing you harder than everyone around you. But the answer is simple. Heavy crowns are not given to weak spirits. The enemy fights hardest against people carrying purpose. And your entire life has been evidence that something extraordinary is attached to your destiny. That is why attacks came early. That is why betrayal followed you. That is why people turned against you without understanding why they disliked you. Your spirit threatened darkness before you even understood your own power. And Jay felt that. They noticed the depth in your silence. They noticed the wisdom hidden behind your eyes. They noticed how you carried yourself differently from the crowd. Even when you doubted yourself, your spirit was still speaking loudly. You have to understand something, chosen one. Real energy cannot hide. People can fake confidence. They can fake kindness. They can fake success. But they cannot fake spiritual presence. And yours is impossible to ignore. That is why people remember you long after conversations end. That is why strangers feel connected to you instantly. That is why certain individuals become obsessed with competing against you even when you never entered a competition. Your existence activates something inside people. Some become inspired, some become healed, some become exposed. And Jay was one of the few who recognized that your energy was connected to destiny instead of ego. That connection shook them more than they admitted, because deep down they realized they were standing in front of someone heaven had marked differently. Someone carrying lessons, wisdom, and spiritual endurance beyond their years. Someone chosen to survive things that should have ended them. Look at your life. You survived heartbreak that almost destroyed your faith. You survived rejection that made you question your worth. You survived loneliness that felt unbearable. You survived spiritual attacks nobody else even noticed. And yet, you are still here. That alone proves there is protection over your life. Normal people do not survive what you survived while keeping their heart alive. Many would have become bitter. Many would have lost themselves completely. But despite everything, there is still goodness inside you. There is still light inside you. There is still compassion inside you. That is rare. And Jay recognized it before you even spoke. Chosen one, hear me carefully. People are not drawn toward you by accident. Your spirit carries answers. Your energy carries healing. Your presence carries awakening. Some people meet you during the darkest seasons of their life because heaven sends your energy to remind them they are not alone. You do not even realize how deeply your words affect others sometimes. A simple conversation from you can stay in someone's mind for years because your spirit speaks beyond language. That is why Jay felt connected to you instantly. It was not just attributed action. It was not just curiosity. It was spiritual recognition. Something inside them understood that meeting you would change them forever, and maybe that frightened them, because not everyone is ready to encounter someone carrying divine energy. Some people pray for light until the light actually appears. Then suddenly they panic because true light exposes everything hidden in darkness. That is why your life has been filled with strange reactions from people. Some admire you secretly, some envy you secretly, some study you silently, some fear your growth, but very few truly understand you. And that has been one of the loneliest parts of your journey. You often feel like nobody fully sees the real you. People see pieces, fragments, versions, masks, but very few understand the depth of your soul or the battles you silently carry every day. Yet Jay sensed it immediately. Not every detail, not every scar, but enough to realize your spirit was different. Chosen one, stop apologizing for your intensity. Stop shrinking yourself so insecure people feel comfortable around you. Stop dimming your light because others misunderstand your energy. You were not created to make darkness comfortable. You were created to awaken people. That is why your life feels so spiritually heavy sometimes. You are carrying an assignment bigger than your current understanding. and heaven has been preparing you through every painful season. Every betrayal taught you discernment. Every delay taught you patience. Every heartbreak taught you strength. Every lonely season taught you dependence on God. Nothing was wasted. Even the moments you thought were destroying you were secretly building the version of yourself needed for your destiny. And Jay sensed pieces of that greatness before you even revealed your story. That is powerful, because many people only value others after hearing accomplishments or titles. But spiritually aware individuals recognize energy before credentials, feel authenticity before words are spoken. And your spirit carries authenticity. You cannot fake what you have survived. You cannot fake spiritual endurance. You cannot fake wisdom earned through pain. You cannot fake divine protection. That is why your presence alone makes people emotional sometimes. Your energy reminds them of survival. It reminds them of hope. It reminds them that darkness does not always win. Chosen one, you have underestimated yourself for too long. You keep looking at your wounds while heaven keeps looking at your strength. You keep focusing on what hurt you while God focuses on what survived. You keep questioning your value while your spirit continues changing lives without permission. There is something sacred about your journey. And the more you awaken spiritually, the more you will realize that every strange event in your life was connected. Every closed door, every unexpected separation, every painful ending. It was all preparing you for alignment. Because where you are going, not everybody can follow. Some people were only meant to teach you lessons. Some were only meant to reveal your strength. Some were only meant to awaken your discernment. But the ones truly connected to your destiny will recognize your spirit immediately, just like Jay did. Chosen one, your energy speaks before you do. It announces survival. It announces wisdom. It announces spiritual authority. That is why people react strongly to you without explanation. Your spirit carries evidence of battles won in silence. And heaven wants you to stop doubting who you are. You are not forgotten. You are not random. You are not ordinary. You are someone who walked through fire and still carries light. And whether people admit it openly or not, they can feel it the moment they encounter you, including Jay. So walk differently from this day forward. Stop begging for validation from people who cannot spiritually comprehend your purpose. Stop lowering our standards just to avoid loneliness. Stop questioning whether you are enough. You are always enough. In fact, your biggest problem has never been insufficiency. It has been forgetting your power. But now your spirit is waking up. Now your discernment is sharpening. Now your confidence is returning. Now your purpose is becoming clearer. And the same people who overlooked you before will suddenly realize there was always something extraordinary about you. The signs were there all along. The resilience, the wisdom, the unusual favor over your life, the ability to survive impossible situations. Chosen one, you are carrying a story heaven intends to use. And one day people will look at your journey and realize God was protecting you the entire time, including Jay. Because before you ever explained yourself, before you ever shared your testimony, before you ever revealed your battles, they already knew there was something different about you. And deep down, so did heaven.